Welcome, crypto fam, to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. Also, Senator Lummis tells CoinDesk that Bitcoin's market cap is going to grow to $200 trillion, sending Bitcoin skyrocketing to $9.5 million per coin. She says, I don't want to save in dollars. What do we call them, folks, by the way? We'll also be discussing Bitcoin held by publicly listed firms climbed 16% here in the first quarter of the year. I've been breaking down this latest report by Bitwise. Also breaking news, Tokyo listed Value Creation vows to add another 700,000 to their Bitcoin holdings. That's right. The amount is quite modest, but comes amid a growing trend in Japan of adopting the pretty little bitty going up forever Laura as a corporate treasury asset. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin takes the backseat as Trump and Bukele focus on trade and immigration. I'll be giving you all the updates from Bitcoin president, as well as obviously both our Bitcoin presidents, I can say now. Also, El Salvador just bought the Bitcoin dip while Bukele met with Trump. I'll share with you the proof of work. We also have a advantageous bull prediction of Bitcoin surging to $137,000 by quarter three, possibly if the Treasury of the United States continues their liquidity injections. We'll also be discussing the United States has countless ways to bolster their Bitcoin reserves. According to Bo Hines, that's right, the U.S. is exploring every option to fund America's strategic Bitcoin reserve, according to the White House Crypto Council Executive Director, Bo Hines. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, all this plus so much mother frickin' more, right here in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, ring the bell, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod number 1964. I'm your host, JV. It's April 15th, 2025. It's Taco Tuesday, apparently. And let's kick this mofo off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Pretty little bitty, taking a little breather here today, currently correcting and in the red, down about 1% on the day, maintaining above 84,000 at the time of the live stream. We also have Ether in the red, XRP in the bulk of the market correcting. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at 2.65 trillion. Bitty market cap just shy of 1.67 trillion. And we have roughly 72 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours, with Bitcoin dominance today coming in at 62.9%, ultimately meaning we're back on the rise. Ether dominance stagnated at 7.3%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, believe it or not, Mantra, which got rugged, losing 90% of its market value. Nice little bounce back today of 30%, but in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. It's less than an $800 million market cap, and just a couple of days ago, it was like 5-6 billion. So still the majority of the market cap has been wiped out. Toncoin up a modest 3%, and Story up a modest 3%. That's because the majority of the market is correcting and in the red. And checking out the crypto bubbles, I like to use this just for the visual perspective. On the daily here, safe to say 95% of the market correcting and in the red. On the weekly, a good sign. 95% of the market pumping and in the green. I dig it. And checking out the monthly here, give me a second. Frog in my throat. Fartcoin up 166% on the month, but the majority of the market correcting and in the red. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. Today at 38 fear, yesterday at 31, last week at 24, and last month at 30 in fear. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We're on block number 892,562 today. We have 157,438 blocks into the halving of 2028. And we got a divine omen, 1188 sats per dollar, and 1111. You already know, 88's intelligent infinity and 11 is a divine omen. Combine the two, and you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,188 sats. So put down the gats, pick up some sats, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. In fact, it's now 421. That's a blackjack. So let's dive into our TA astrology for the broskies. And shout out to the bitty baddies holding it down. Headline reads, Bitcoin trader doubts breakout significance as the Bitcoin price nears 87,000. And I promise I'll pull up the live charts here shortly. This chart is the 1 hour, and you can see where we're currently at here. Trading view showed Bitcoin seeking to break 86. Continued strength through the weekend set up the USD Bitcoin pair for an attack on levels closer to 90. These absent since early March. We were hoping to recover to 90, but we're struggling to get back above. Concerns over the macroeconomic volatility with the U.S. trade war at its center nonetheless kept market participants from calling an end to the Bitcoin bull market correction, quoting them here. It's funny watching sentiment shift so quickly. Just days ago, everyone was calling for 50. Now we're rushing to flip bullish. I don't know who was calling for 50, but I digress. This emotional roller coaster is exactly why most traders lose money. While short-term momentum appears bullish, we still face multiple resistance hurdles before confirming the correction is finito, complete, yo. And you already know. Stock Money Lizards, what a username, lizard folk, saw range-bound Bitcoin price action, continuing prior to the retest of the most significant longer-term resistance nearer to 100 Gs. My outlook remains cautiously optimistic. Expect continued ranging between 78 to 88 for several weeks as the biddy builds energy for the next move. Once we clear the 97 zone, the path to 110 plus becomes much more viable by late summer. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analysts. Now, a key topic of conversation amongst the traders is the biddy price breakthrough attempt, focusing on the multi-month downward trend line. We have an analyst quoting them here alongside the chart. If the higher high is successful, which is likely in my opinion, then it can retrace for a higher low anywhere above the low before it runs to the wedge target of above 100 Gs. So my question for you, when do you feel we'll likely recapture the infamous 100K milestone, six figures? Let me know. And in other news, Senator Lummis tells CoinDesk Bitcoin's market cap is going to grow to 200 trillion. And just keep in mind, the total addressable market of the world is like 900 trillion. So that's like probably like a fourth of all the money in the world flowing into Bitcoin, sending Bitcoin parabolic to 9.5 million per coin. And she reminds us, I don't want to save in dollars. So I asked the question, what do we call them, folks that like to save the fiat currency at a bank? Let me know. And we'll pull up some of the live charts, fam-a-lam. And again, welcome everyone joining us. 600 people on the live stream. Let's see here. Let me pull up for you guys. Live chart, Action Jackson satisfaction. 10-minute, we do have a bear scenario sitting at just shy of 80 Gs, which is about a $4,000 down scenario from the current price action. Looking at the hourly, this is via TradingView via Coinbase. We do have a rising wedgie formation. We do have a bull scenario at 88,000, roughly a $4,000 jump from the current price action. Bear scenario on the hourly chart at 78.6. Zooming out a little further, taking a look at the 4-hour, the Quattro Aurora. Here you go. You can see here, unfortunately, we dropped from that, rectangle position, and obviously we're dropping right now in real time. You can see on the 4-hour chart, past 12 hours have been bearish, unfortunately. And we do have some bear scenarios sitting at around $73,000 and 69 in that range. And zooming out a little further, we take a look at a daily. As you can see, red candle formed on the day. Yesterday was a green candle close. The day before that was red. The day before that, green. It's like red, green, red, green, red, green. We do have a bull red scenario just shy of 112,000, which would take us back to price discovery. And we haven't achieved price discovery all-time high since January. It was actually on Inauguration Day, Jan 20th. Checking out the weekly, finally, we had a green weekly candle close, which is good and bullish. And here we are, trying to maintain the bullishness and continue marching north to the 90,000 level. Currently struggling to do so. Cup and handle target sitting at 124,000 on the weekly chart. Zooming out a little further, we take a quick look at a monthly. And as you can see, I hope we resume the bullish momentum since January, but we shall soon see. 800 people already on the live stream, so let's transition to our next story of the day. Regarding some Bitcoin adoption, headline here reads, Bitcoin held by publicly listed firms climbed 16% in the first quarter, according to this report by Bitwise. That's right. Total company Bitcoin holdings rose to around 688,000 BTC by the end of the first quarter, with firms adding 95,431 BTC over the quarter. The value of the combined Bitcoin stacks rose around 2.2%, reaching a total combined value of $56.7 billion, with a price per Bitcoin of $82,445, as outlined right here. The total value of the Bitcoin holdings 57 billion. So yeah, Bitwise noted that the number of the public companies holding Bitcoin rose to 79, with 12 firms buying crypto for the first time here in the first quarter. Well, I guess last quarter was first quarter, but nonetheless this year. The largest first-time Bitcoin buyer was the Hong Kong construction firm Mingxing, whose subsidiary Lead Benefit bought a total of 833 Bitcoin over the quarter, with an initial 500 Bitcoin buy in January and a follow-up 333 Bitcoin buy in February. The greatest month of the year, I might add. The next largest maiden Bitcoin holder was a far-right favored YouTube alternative, Rumble, the uncensored video platform. Shout out to our Rumble fam. For those that don't know, we do stream live on YouTube, X, and Rumble for obvious reasons. One notable debut Bitcoin buyer was the Hong Kong investment firm HK Asia Holdings Limited, which only purchased a single Bitcoin in February. But the announcement caused its share price to nearly double in value in a single trading day. So if you're a publicly traded company, just by making an announcement of adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet, even if it's only one Bitcoin, could most likely increase your stock price. Pretty wild. You may want to think about that. Meanwhile, Japanese investment firm Metaplanet said in an April 14th note it purchased another 319 Bitcoin for an average price of almost 12 million yen, which is just shy of 83,000 USD per biddy, bringing its total holdings now to 4,525 Bitcoin. And I know their goal is to have like 10,000 Bitcoin before the end of the year. However, the company has spent 58 billion yen, which is 406 million, buying its current Bitcoin stack. That's almost a $500 million worth of Bitcoin purchases. Metaplanet was down 0.5% by the April 15th lunch break, which was today, at the Tokyo Stock Exchange after closing April 14th, up almost 4%. The Tokyo-based firm's latest Bitcoin buy puts it firmly in 10th place among the world's largest public companies holding Bitcoin, trailing behind Jack Dorsey's Block, which holds 8,485 BTC. So there you have it. Next story of the day, headline reads, Tokyo listed value creation vows to add another 700,000 to the Bitcoin holdings. What to know? Value Creation plans to add 100 million yen, which is roughly 700,000 worth of Bitcoin, to its balance sheet over the next 4 months. So this is a company to do so. The move would bring the firm's total holdings to 300 million yen, which is roughly 2.1 million USD. The rather modest accumulation comes amid the growing institutional interest in Bitcoin across Japan. And we were just talking about Metaplanet. Their goal is to have 10,000 Bitcoin, and they're well on their way, halfway there. But this is a different company. Value Creation, a Tokyo-listed logistics tech firm, expects to add 700,000 worth of Bitcoin to the balance sheet over the next 4 months. The firm had previously purchased 1.4 million worth of Bitcoin, so they're already Bitcoin hodler, and they're going to continue in their strategy. This fund comes from surplus capital earmarked for future investments, according to the company. Value Creation's move is a tiny one, but isn't happening in isolation. A trend has taken hold in Japan, where companies once cautious are dipping into the pretty low biddy as a treasury reserve asset. Several firms of the country have adopted Bitcoin, with energy firm Remix Point, Nexon, and Metaplanet most popular amongst them all. Metaplanet is the largest Japanese corporate holder, currently with over 4,500 BTC on a balance sheet. And if you don't know, now you know. Well, guess I'm from the tariff revenue. They can use that to buy the Bitcoin. That's one of the ways. As long as it's net neutral, they can acquire the Bitcoin with it. But yeah, next story, here's the latest from Trump and Bukele. And first, we'll start here. El Salvador bought more Bitcoin while President Bukele met with Trump yesterday. As you can see, El Salvador's Bitcoin holdings are now 6,147. They've been accumulating Bitcoin since they adopted Bitcoin as legal tender back in 2021. And as you can see, this headline, Bitcoin takes the backseat as Trump and Bukele focus on trade and immigration. That's right. Let me know if you guys watched some of the highlights from this. President Trump hosted El Salvador's President Bukele at the White House yesterday with talks centered on trade and immigration, excluding Bitcoin from the public agenda. Pressing issues of migration, bilateral security cooperation set the tone for Bukele's first official meeting at the White House during Trump's second term. And according to the live stream by Bukele's office, Trump raised the possibility of transferring U.S. citizens convicted of crimes to prisons in El Salvador, urging Bukele to expand the country's prison system to house more prisoners. I said homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places. says Trump to Bukele. Now, since taking office, the Trump admin deported hundreds of alleged foreign criminal individuals to El Salvador under a $6 million deal between the countries. Trump also addressed the ongoing trade war unleashed by his administration April 2nd, suggesting a potential temporary exemption for automakers aimed at easing the transition of their supply chains. Quoting them here, "I am looking at something to help some of the car companies with it," Trump told reporters present at the meeting, adding that the U.S. auto industry needs a little bit of time to relocate production to the country. The meeting did not touch on digital assets or Bitcoin, unfortunately. El Salvador adopted Bitcoin, as you know, legal tender in 2021, the first country to do so, hence they'll forever be Bitcoin country, pioneering the Bitcoin strategic reserve approach later. Followed by Trump. The U.S. president positioned himself as a pro-crypto candidate during this election, and on March 6, Trump signed the infamous executive order creating the Bitcoin strategic reserve as well as the digital asset stockpile. In the United States, the U.S. currently holds roughly 198,000 Bitcoin, valued at $17 billion as of March, but do note a good chunk of that, practically half of it, belongs to Bitfinex, so they're chopped that in half. Now, El Salvador signed off in a December $1.4 billion loan agreement with the IMF, which we all know, which included commitments to unwind Bitcoin-related initiatives, reducing the public sector involvement with digital assets. And while the Salvadoran Congress amended its Bitcoin laws in January to comply with the deal, the government has continued to purchase the Bitcoin, currently holding 6,147 BTC. And again, they continue to purchase Bitcoin practically every day, 1 Bitcoin a day. And there you have it, yo. And in fact, since striking the deal with the IMF, they've actually beefed that up, purchasing even more than they were prior to the recent deal of $1.4 billion. But there you have it, yo. Let me know your thoughts with the Trump and Bukele Bitcoin presidents uniting. Next story headline here reads, Bitcoin surged to 137,000 by the third quarter, possible if U.S. Treasury continues their liquidity injections. That's right. The U.S. Treasury injected $500 billion into financial markets since February by drawing liquidity from the Treasury General account, funding government operations after the $36 trillion debt ceiling was hit Jan 2nd, 2025. Macroeconomic financial analyst Thomas said that this liquidity surge boosted the net Federal Reserve liquidity to $6.3 trillion, and it may support Bitcoin's price for the future, even though the risk assets reflected minimal growth thus far. The TGA represents the government's checking account at the Fed, holding capital for daily operations like paying bills or collecting taxes. A decrease of the TGA capital means the balance has been deployed into the broader economy, boosting available cash for the markets. Thomas explained that the TGA drawdown commenced on February 12th following the exhaustion of extraordinary measures after the debt ceiling was reached. The TGA balance dropped from 842 to roughly 342 billion dollars, releasing liquidity into the system, and targeted liquidity expected to rise to $600 billion by the end of this month of April. The analyst added that the current tax season will temporarily drain liquidity, but the drawdowns expected to resume in May. So if the debt ceilings extends to August, net liquidity can hit a multi-year high of $6.6 trillion, which can cause a bullish tailwind for the pretty little bitty going up forever Laura. So as you can see, the Bitcoin correlation with the global liquidity, as per this chart by Lynn Alden. According to a study by Lynn, Bitcoin has historically moved 83% of the time in line with the global liquidity in a given 12-month period. The research termed Bitcoin a global liquidity barometer, compared Bitcoin to the other major asset classes such as the SPX, gold, and VT as a pretty little bitty top correlation index with respect to the global liquidity. So let's dive into this forecast here. Anonymous crypto trader Titan of Crypto shared a bullish outlook for the pretty little bitty, predicting the bitty can surge to a new all-time high of 137 G's, baby, by July to August of this year. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. Here's a breakout formation sensation on the chart, bullish pennant shared by Titan of Crypto. But just do note, before pushing your chips into a long conviction play, Bitcoin must break and retain a position above the 200-day exponential moving average, as illustrated here in the chart. Bitcoin faces resistance from all key exponential moving averages, namely the 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day indicators. A collective reclaim from each moving average on a higher time frame chart could further strengthen the bull case, allowing the crypto to retest its six-figure targets. And if you don't know, now you know. There you have it, yo. Now for our feature story of the day. The United States has countless ways to bolster their Bitcoin reserve, according to the White House Crypto Council executive himself, Bo Hines. That's right. And as they once said in the 90s, Bo knows sports. Remember a good old Bo Jackson? Back in the good old days? I know my broskies do. The U.S. is exploring many ways to increase its Bitcoin reserve without taxpayer dollars, which is the key, including through tariff revenue and revaluing the government's gold certificates. Dump the gold derivatives, please, and trade it for the most hardest asset in human existence. Yes, please. According to the executive director of the Trump administration Crypto Council, quoting him here, we're looking at many creative ways, whether it be from tariffs. There's literally countless ways, like the Ethereum max supply. There's infinite ways in which you can do this, Bo Hines said. I agree 100%. And that was in a recent interview he did with Mr. Pompliano, the CEO of Capital Management. Let's go. Mine said the Treasury could revalue its gold certificates, valued at $43 per ounce. Ain't that crazy? There's gold certificates, which is pretty much gold IOUs, gold derivatives, and they're only valued at $43 per ounce, when an ounce of gold is going for now more than $3,200 per ounce, creating a paper surplus to fund the Bitcoin purchases without selling the gold. Can you say gold manipulation? You got to keep them manipulated. Quoting him here, everything is on the table. And like we have said, we want as much as we can get, so we are going to make sure that no stone is unturned. I repeat, they want as much Bitcoin as they can get, and they're going to go by any means necessary to figure out these infinite ways, whether it's gold certificates or these tariffs, but they're going to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible, according to Bo Hines. So respect to Pompliano for putting together this interview. The Bitcoin reserve will initially comprise assets, as we know, forfeited to the government criminal cases, but allow for the government to develop budget-neutral strategies. That's the key word. As long as it's a budget-neutral strategy for acquiring the additional Bitcoin, they're allowed to do it, according to the executive order. And during the interview, Bo Hines said the White House is also developing a digital. Why don't they rename the White House to the Orange House? I mean, we got an orange president, Bitcoin orange. Why not? Just a thought. Framework outlining how the U.S. plans to support the crypto innovation, promote the U.S. dollar stablecoins worldwide. Quoting them again. I'll provide clarity on many of the aspects of the space, whether it be from tokenization to staking, all sorts of the things, Hines said, adding that the Trump administration has been moving rapidly to make America the crypto capital of the world. We're moving at tech speed. It's like we're a startup in this building. We'll continue moving this along quite quickly. The report Hines referred to is expected to be published late July or August. Hines wasn't asked to address some of Trump's potential conflicts of interest in the crypto space, including the controversial official Trump meme coin and the Trump family business venture we know as World Liberty Financial, which has been raised by the opposition party. Quoting Predator, I watched the interview in full. Pomp did not ask about, number one, how much Bitcoin the U.S. government owns, the internal audit, which we're all awaiting, that Trump admin told us that should have already been completed, and number two, Donald Trump's growing list of, I'll let this load up, cryptocurrency space, including Trump Coin, Melania Coin, WLFI, MetaPlanet, USD1, Binance, etc. Number three, Bo Hines' involvement in the RTR pump and the dump scheme, and the donations Bo Hines received from FTX executives. I wasn't even familiar with all this. Good Lord. Definitely need to address that. Number five, the Trump family business's closeness with Justin's son. I didn't even know that one. CZ and various other controversial figures on whether there is a quid pro quo happening. What is that? Quid pro quo. Is there quid pro quo happening amongst them? What are your thoughts? Broskies, do clue me in. Last month, House Representative Gerald Connolly referred to the Trump token as a money grab. I have to agree with that. That resulted in Trump-linked entities cashing in on over $100 million worth of the trading fees. Was that necessary, Trump? Representative Maxine Waters, everyone's least favorite individual on the planet, also criticized Trump's meme coin January 20th, referring to a rug pull, while claiming the launch represented the worst of crypto. I dare say the Hawktua launch was a little worse, but same basket. The White House AI and crypto czar, Mr. David Sachs, said the Trump meme coin was nothing more than a collectible. How retarded are we? Come on now, guys. It's a beanie baby, apparently. Hines also wasn't asked whether the U.S. completed an internal audit of the Bitcoin holdings, a task that was supposed to be completed within 30 days of Trump. Executive order established a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which we're all waiting upon. But what are your thoughts? I do think that the White House will be stacking a lot of Bitcoin. The question becomes, how much will they go for? Michael Saylor and Max Keiser are proposing for the Trump admin to purchase up to 5 million, which would be 25% of the Bitcoin supply. Cynthia Lummis's bill is suggesting purchasing a minimal of 1 million Bitcoin, which is roughly 5% of the supply. But you guys let me know your thoughts regarding Bitcoin adoption for the United States Strategic Reserve. Holla, and I'll read your comments out loud. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. I'm going to stick around for a bonus hour. And yeah, we'll kick it. We'll kick it, fam. Day off today. I had to train my own. Right on. You can just feel we're about to roar. 2024 Dragons. Speaking of roaring, here's a song called Dragon Roar.
They flew through the FUD. They knew they were Luna bound. They played in and slung a little mud. What they did was have each other six and spit out the Bitcoin sound. They spread hope with their Dragon fam, singing Diddy Jammy Jams, working with their fifth Lev G Dragon family, JVC and Nate family. Hodl Gang Dragon, so legendary. They flew through wars and
shout out to the Hodl Gang. Where you at? For those that don't know, one of the many ways to support us, for those in a position to do so, for less than 10 cents a day, it's, I think, $2.97 a month. You can become a member of the Hodl Gang, which is simply a membership on the channel. And you're going to notice everyone with their name in green with a loyalty badge, which is a star with different colors next to their name. These are members of the channel supporting us here on the tube. So I want to thank everyone who is supporting us in that way. If you're not in a position to support us through the memberships, you can still support us just by watching the stream, as you are apparently. Repost the stream, comment, quote, subscribe to the channel, spread the word. It's greatly appreciated. That's how we hack the algorithm. We are the resistance.
Political storms, Satoshi armed, fire-breathing champion.
And thank you for the reminder, Streamlabs. Remember to smile. God loves you, and Satoshi blesses you.
Of the Bitcoin, sharing the message, lighting Bitcoin flames, fire breathing, truth preaching, fighting for financial hope and currency change. Music lit, words so high.
Only a dragon can spit. Yeah, it's like a way to get people to use Bitcoin and make it worthwhile to them. 10% discount is nothing to sneeze at in the current economy. Precisely. Agreed. Shout out the Oracle. She just gifted 5 memberships of the channel. And these are MicroStrategy memberships, which are superior to the Hodl Gang membership, just FYI. I believe MicroStrategy memberships are $4.97 a pop. So she just blessed you guys. Shout out to Andy, Markowitz, Locksky, Ralph, Debo, and Jay Dibs. Have y'all been blessed and hooked up with a MicroStrategy membership of the channel on behalf of our very own Oracle? So show our Oracle some love and make sure you're following her on X. It's a must. JC Ice baby. Din, 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 din. And always feel free to drop your X link in the chat. We appreciate that. This gong strikes for all the new members and for JC, which is our Oracle.
Not only a dragon could spit, lit, rip, fiat was burning and Bitcoin
was on fire.
Milky Way, high kind of delight, doing da-dung moon, just a pit stop, but they had to be patient. The Bitcoin Dragon team isn't weak, they're not greedy, they are unique, they're not sheep.
Well, yeah, dragons aren't sheep.
Da-da-diddy doing, so they knew they weren't done with their work, no time to take a vacay, but soon they did pause to applaud the 100K. Puerto Rico bound, the dragon wings rested, and they were taking it easy on a private jet. Whoa, undergunning in Puerto Rico. Then they got back to work. You can't stall or tame a Bitcoin dragon. A number 10 mountain bird dragon. Whenever back down to CNA dragon will always stand its ground, breathing fire to protect the house, the Hodl house. These dragons were given the gift of a flame, meant to light the world orange, painting a brighter picture
with the Bitcoin vision.
Oh, dragon, never underestimate a Bitcoin dragon's God-guided passion or its loyalty to humanity and Satoshi. Dragons, our flame is your light, burning bright on fire, guiding you to the Bitcoin truth, the Satoshi light.
My favorite part coming up.
2024 year of the dragon, hear it roar. Bitcoin, hear it roar. Dragons, hear them roar. Auto gang, hear them roar. Peanut Fred, hear them roar. Candy 10, hear a roar. Paper, hear a roar. JV, hear them roar. Nipsey, hear them roar. CNA family, hear them roar. Satoshi, hear them roar. Ross, hear him roar. Bitcoin kids, hear them roar. Wise owls, hear them warn. Bitcoin, watch it soar, soar, soar. Going, we've won this war. 2024,
We don't slay dragons. We are dragons that slay. It's the Bitcoin way.
It's the Bitcoin slang. It's the Bitcoin play. Do yourself a favor, listen to what we say.